Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back, guys, at Magic. This is Hunter, Steven, David, and Shane. Say what up, boys.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
What is up, nerds?
Wow.
Back at it again with another Commander Grades video. We are finishing the set with the Cabaretti family, the Brokers family, and just non-faction-based legendary creature cards. Just a quick reminder, if you guys want to see a specific cards and any of the ones we're about to talk about, don't forget to look in the description down below. You can just click the timestamp, go to the card you want to hear us talk about. So let's just jump into it. This is Cabaretti. Cabaretti, the first card is Jetmir, Nexus of Revels. Jetmir, Nexus of Revels is 1, a red, a green, and a white for a 5/4 legendary creature, Cat Demon. It says creatures you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance as long as you control 3 or more creatures. Also says creatures you control also get +1/+0 and have trample as long as you control 6 or more creatures. And it says creatures you control also get +1/+0 and have double strike as long as you control 9 or more creatures. Huh. That's a lot. I'll take it first since this is my favorite color combination. This is Naya. Essentially, if you have 9 or more creatures, you get +3/+0 with double strike, trample, and vigilance. Seems pretty good.
I would say so.
A token-based deck, very doable. There's a lot of cool new cards. One of them that I actually played with in the pre-release was that new Hideaway card, Rabble Rousing, which is 5 mana for an enchantment with Hideaway 5. It says whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. It gets out of hand so fast because they just double each other.
Seems good.
Yeah, very easy to get to 9 with that card. But I do think this is just a win more kind of commander, just because if you have 9 creatures on the board, I think you're winning. Granted, if they're 1/1s, you're not really, but 9 creatures is a lot to deal with.
And you got a hell of a board state.
They're not going to be 1/1s if you have that. They're going to be 3/1s with double strike, trample, and vigilance.
Yes, that's true. Very true.
Your 1/1s are hitting for 6 damage.
No, they'd be 4/1s.
Oh my god. They're bigger. I forgot. I didn't do math right. Yep, Shane's right. They're hitting for 8 damage.
Yeah, you're right, dude. That's only 72 points of damage.
That one guy's really dead.
This is like Craterhoof Behemoth, I feel like, but in more colors and is in your command zone.
Yeah.
I like that.
I agree with you. This is the perfect commander for a new player, I think. If someone's just getting into Magic, into Commander, just say, hey, use this card right here. It just pumps your creatures.
I don't think this would be the best for a new player.
Why?
I'll agree with you that because then you got to be like, all right, now you got to play a bunch of stuff that makes you a bunch of creatures, and you got to keep up with everything. That you're, I don't know. You want to give a new player a color combo? Just give him Gruul and tell him play big things, smack things hard.
I mean, you essentially still can do that with this deck. You don't necessarily have to build this as tokens, but I mean, it kind of wants you to go in that direction.
100%.
I kind of feel like this deck would pilot itself almost.
I don't know.
Cruise control, baby.
I don't know. It's so easy to get rid of this card. Yes, you're building a massive board state, and yes, you have all these tokens that are fucking 8 whatevers, or 4 ones that are going to smack you for 8 with the double strike, the vigilance. But at the end of the day, you just remove one piece of all those cards, and you're going from 72 damage to a fraction of it.
9.
Fraction of it.
I mean, I get your point. I do actually think that
Devil's
the first mode on this creature is going to be activated pretty much always. The second mode on the creature is going to be activated, I would say, the majority of the time. And the third mode on this creature, I think, is still going to be activated pretty frequently. And even if you're ignoring the tokens, just looking at this is an 8/4 that is a commander with Vigilance, Double Strike, and Trample. That's pushing a lot of damage through, and this thing only needs to count to 21.
And I agree. But at the end of the day, and this is just I think this is a good commander card. The only thing I'm going to say is just if by just removing one card I can get rid of everything you just talked about. I mean, what do you want to do about that?
See, that's the thing though, is I mean, we're also making the assumption at this point that those tokens that you're producing are just 1/1s and you're not playing any other kind of engines
No, I
that
mean
are going to give
anthem
them any
effects
kind of
and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess we are kind of forgetting that this does pump itself.
Oh, I'm not forgetting that at all.
I mean, I don't think anyone's worried about it pumping itself. I think what me and David are trying to talk about is like basically just. I mean, I think you're putting a shit ton of anthem effects in this deck.
I also don't want to fall into the trap because I see that somebody has another notes. I don't actually think that this is a win more card. I think it self-synergizes and it has like that extra mode that really sets it over the top with a double strike. I still think in most games, like at the very least, I think this is going to be 4 mana for a 7/4 with Vigilance and Trample most of the time. And
I'm sorry,
I think
David.
that's good enough.
I'm sorry, David. Were you reading your own column?
I might have been.
Because you, in fact, did call us a win more card.
Oh, no. Actually, I was looking up there at Hunters where it says win
mode. I know, but I looked up and I looked down. I'm like, huh. So does David say that?
I mean, look, I don't think that the card is amazing. I don't think this is fantastic, but I do think this is a very solid card. And I think that if somebody sits down with this across the table from you, you have to take this seriously.
I agree. Going back on what Hunter said, dude. A new player. This commander, I'll say right now, perfect commander for someone learning what haste does.
I mean, this doesn't have haste on it at all.
I'm just calling back to you, dude. That's all.
Okay. Perfect. So let's move on to the grades. We'll go with David first. What do we got?
I'm actually going to give this thing a B. I don't think it's quite in the A range territory, but I still think this is a very solid card.
I'll agree with you. I think this is a B as well.
I'm gonna stick with my gut. I'm just gonna go with a C. I think this does lean towards more to a B. I just think that even if you do have other anthem effects, I just think that with this being on the table, I'm not saying this is gonna be a hate generator, but if somebody sees that you have 6 or more creatures and you're starting to creep to that 9, just removing one piece of that puzzle just kind of ruins you, and I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm gonna hop on the B train.
Chugga chugga. This is average as a B.
Don't you mean bugga bugga?
Bugga bugga?
Because it's
bugga bugga.
train?
It's a B.
Yeah, I don't think trains make bugga sounds though, but alright.
What sound does a train make?
Bugga bugga.
Oh.
All right. Next card. Rocco, Cabaretti, Caterer. Rocco, Cabaretti, Caterer is X, a red, a green, and a white for a 3/1 legendary creature elf druid. It says when Rocco Cabaretti enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you may search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle.
Somebody say tutor on a stick?
Baby, go ahead, Steven, talk about it.
I mean, it's a tutor in the command zone. Like, what else do you really want to... I can't believe this is an uncommon. I think this will 100% see play in standard and in EDH, but this in EDH is going to be nuts.
Yeah, dude, 5 mana, you get this plus Dockside.
You get this plus whatever creature is just going to win you the game. I think in most cases, if this resolves, you've won on the spot.
Yeah, I like how you have a... we'll talk about the grades later, but yeah. This card seems really good. Serving up justice, dude.
Yeah, because if you have... I'm going to go back to the fucking combo button. But if you have combo pieces in play and you're just one combo piece away, say a Dockside Extortionist away from winning, your commander gets it. Goes and gets it for you.
So wait, is this just... Oh, sorry.
No, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier as well. Is like you're gonna find whatever the key pieces of your combo, that creature-based combo, and you're just winning the game the second that this thing resolves.
That's what I was gonna harp on. Like, does this kind of just go back to the 6/6 for 7 that you don't like, David? Whereas, like, I'm against you and I'm seeing that, I'm 100% gonna keep up a counter for this card.
I see your comparison here. However, this thing at its base costs 3 mana. That means you can still go grab a 0 mana creature just by casting this for 3, of which Walking Ballista is a 0 mana creature that is used in creature-based combos. Now, I know that it'll enter as a 1/1, so you need to at least have something in play to be able to pump it. Hardened Scales will do the trick. But, like, you can get this thing out very, very quickly to start setting up or just finishing combos.
Yeah.
You can also trick... Go ahead, David.
I mean, the color combination for this is a huge plus. And then having access to green does give you access to a couple of cards that do prevent your things from being countered as well. So, like, you have interaction in the deck. This card just seems nuts.
Hey, Dave, wait. Before we move past it, I know it's like only something you like barely touched on, but grabbing Walking Ballista, it would just die the minute it comes in.
That's why I said it would need Hardened Scales or some other additional kind of effect.
Okay.
But I mean,
I was thinking about that. I was like, wait, what?
You could be playing those cards in this deck anyways. I look at it like this is a deck where I'm running my utility creatures, maybe a couple of mana dorks and stuff like that. I'm running my creature combo base pieces, and then every other card in this deck is devoted to protecting my combo or having it force its way through.
Dude.
Another thing you can do is you can just wait, because you know someone's going to want to counter this. So you just keep waiting every turn until you see that blue player play a counter on another opponent. Hope they don't have any other counters. Say, like, this is going to be a lot of mana, but to win on the spot, if you have 9 mana, you win, right? Because Rocco, go ahead and grab something we've talked about, Shane. Godo. Go ahead and grab Godo.
Oh, yeah.
Grab Godo, grab Helm of the Host, put it on Godo, win the game. You just win.
Yeah, I guess you either wait for the counter to be spent or wait for that idiot to tap out like I do all the time, and then you're wide open.
And you're like, all right, 9 mana, done, game.
Yeah.
Even Kiki Jiki, man.
See, and that's the thing too, is like, what are you gonna do? Like, any time that this player reloads, there are so many creature-based combos out there.
Yeah, that sucks.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe even the first bullet. Maybe the first bullet. Just pay 4, grab an Esper Sentinel.
This card, dude, I'm just like looking at it, bro. The amount of shuffling you're gonna be doing is gonna suck dick.
The fun thing is that you can also trick your opponent too, because you don't have to reveal what card you're doing until it's cast, right? When it enters, you don't have to reveal what card you got.
It's gonna go into play. It goes onto the battlefield.
Yeah. If the card resolves, so there's no tricking. They have to just either counter or they don't counter.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But you can just, I don't know.
What world are you going to live in which you're like, I could win the game on the spot right now, but instead, I'm going to go grab this other thing that doesn't do that.
That's true. I mean, how often... I also wrote that the commander task could be an issue down the road, depending on how many times this gets countered.
Yeah. It'd be a really fun card to grab with this, now that I think about it, that I recently saw David play.
What's
Magus of the Moon.
Magus of the Moon.
Oh, dude, not fun.
That would suck.
Reclamation Sage, Skyclave Apparition. Dude, this is... Ugh.
And those aren't even combo pieces. Those are generally good cards, too. So, like, this is fantastic, even in the case that you're not trying to go the combo route. It just has even greater ceiling past that point. I'm moving on to grades. Whatever. This thing is an A. It's absolutely fantastic. It's very scary.
Yeah, this is 100% an all-star. It is an A.
This kind of seems like a CDH deck, right?
Definitely can be.
Because it kind of breaks what I think of as Commander, because Commander's not, in my opinion, supposed to be the most consistent thing, but then when you get to CDH, it's consistent. This deck would probably just run the one way always.
I mean, this in CEDH would probably go like a food chain line to generate infinite mana, and then you just tutor everything.
Yeah, it's an A. It's cards nuts.
I am going to give this card a D.
Oh.
In cheap decks,
What?
Uh,
but an A in expensive decks.
I like where your head's at.
No, this is an A, Steven. You can't pick two.
What's that?
This average is an A. We got an all-star, finally. This next card. Jinnie Fey, Jetmir's second. Jinnie Fey, Jetmir's second cost a red or green, a green, and a green or white. It is a 3/3 legendary creature elf druid. It says, if you would create one or more tokens, you may instead create that many 2/2 green cat creature tokens with haste, or that many 3/1 green dog creature tokens with vigilance. Dogs and cats.
Raining cats and dogs, bro.
Cats and dogs.
Yeah. Steven, what do you think about this card? Go ahead first.
See, like, I'm kind of torn between this card and then Jetmir, because, like, in my mind, I mean, granted, this card does say Jetmir's second, but I think that they both go really well together, but I think this card is better probably in the 99 of Jetmir rather than Jetmir being in the 99 of Jinnie Fey. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, that's why she's the second.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I do like this card. I'm not a big fan of this card being the commander.
I disagree.
Hunter, tell me. Yeah, because I was literally going to say, Hunter, tell me why I'm wrong.
I love this card so much. There's a lot of things you can do with it, especially in these colors. It is a token-themed color, Naya. So things like Avenger of Zendikar, where you make a bunch of plans for every land you control, make them into cats, swing in. Dockside Extortionist. If you think you're going to win on the spot, instead of making those treasures, make them cats, hit your opponent. And then if you have, let's say, a flicker effect on the field, like Teleportation Circle, Flicker Dockside or Avenger of Zendikar, keep up 3/1 dogs for blockers. That sounds pretty good.
You keep talking about Avenger of Zendikar. Avenger of Zendikar isn't just good because it makes tokens, though. It's good because it pumps those plants. If you're making this cats or dogs instead of the plants, it's no longer pumping.
No, don't get me wrong. I know the landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield, you put a 1/1 counter on the plants. Sure. But if it's like a win immediately, this is fantastic. 2/2s are better than 0/1s.
You know, that's just good math, Hunter.
Thanks, man.
I don't necessarily care much for this commander, to be completely fair. I think that there are other effects in these colors that already do this better. I mean, isn't there a white enchantment that says, like, if you would make a token, it said you make that 4/4 angel? Which I would just rather be running that, in which case you're going to invalidate what your commander does.
Yeah, but I think that thing has, like, stipulation to it, though, dude. This is just, like, do it.
I will say, like, the one plus that this card does have going for it is it doesn't have to be a creature. Like, the tokens that you're generating, you don't have to make those creatures. So, like, what he mentioned earlier with treasures, if you instead don't want the treasure, you want a cat or a dog, you can make those instead.
Yeah, cool.
Exactly. And
And the
I'll
2/2 that
say,
haste.
yeah, I'll say this again. I brought it up already, but that rabble rousing enchantment card, you're making 2/2s or 3/1s instead of just 1/1s. That just essentially double every time you make them, or every time you swing. It's pretty good. I don't know. There's a lot you can do. Doubling season, stuff like that. Just make an insane amount of tokens.
A lot of cats, dude.
Lots of cats. Or dogs. Steven, do you have anything else to say about this card? Or should we move on to grades?
Do I want to say anything else about this card?
We're moving on to grade.
I think that you're going to build this as a commander, Hunter.
I very well might. These are my colors.
Let's do it.
Boots and cats and dogs. Let's go to grades. I'm giving it a B. I'm sold.
I'm gonna give this a B as well. I know I was kind of jumping down the bad train with this, but it does have a lot of good upside.
I think it looks like a fine card. I'm gonna give it a C.
I'm with Shane on this one. I'm going to give it a C as well. It's not really doing anything super flashy to me. I think the tokens that it generates are probably not going to do much in a game of EDH, but it does things at least.
We'll see about that. The average is a B. Moving on to the Brokers family. This first card, the leader of the Brokers, Falco, Spara, Pactweaver. Falco, Spara, Pactweaver is 1, a green, white, blue for a 3/3 legendary creature, bird demon. It's got flying and trample. It says Falco, Spara, Pactweaver enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast spells from the top of your library by removing a counter from a creature you control in addition to paying its other costs.
Somebody explain to me why this card is better than what I think it is.
It's
I don't
not.
think anybody.
Well, maybe Steve will say it to you because I'm not gonna say it.
I won't either.
Okay, so what? Oh, I'm trying to think of something good here. So here's the thing. I don't think this card is good. I don't think this card is bad either? Question mark. Do I think there are better 4-color commanders? Yes. Do I think there are better 4-color commanders in this color scheme? Yes. But are there commanders in this color scheme that allow you to look at the top of your library at any time?
Yes. You mean for CMC, not color, correct? You kept saying
I mean,
4 color.
there are 4 CMC cards, but what I'm saying is like this is readily available in your command zone at any time. Whereas those other cards you have to search for, go, just to get onto the field.
Look, I already know what's going to happen.
Devil's advocate. I'm just saying.
I already know what's going to happen, okay? Because this happens anytime that I play these kinds of effects. I'm going to play this, and then I know for a fact I'm going to reveal a land whenever I desperately don't need one, or I'm not going to reveal a land whenever I'm mana screwed.
Oh, it won't even matter if you reveal a land because
It whiffs. You can only
it
cast
whiffs.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying this. I'm going to look at the top card of my library and all right, cool. So I'm screwed right now and next turn.
You're going to need something like Oracle of Moldiah as well in this deck, just so if you do hit a land, you can play it.
I just need to look at like the other cards in this set because like, what? How are you getting shield counters back on this thing?
You don't have to have a shield counter. Just have a 1/1
yeah, it's
counter.
any counter.
Just any kind of counter.
Any counter. Okay.
I mean, you play around with like the Ozolith and stuff too, so you can recycle counters.
I'm kind of like already ready to move on.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this card at all. Like, seems meh.
I think the shield mechanic as a whole is pretty standard and limited, kind of targeted. I don't think it's very good for EDH.
All right, let's move on to grades. I'm giving this thing a D. David, what is your grade for this?
I'm not very high on this card either. I'm going to give this thing a D. Because of its stats, sadly, I feel like it's probably going to need the shield counter, and I know that you can use other kind of counters to kind of get it going, but it's not doing enough for me.
Jane?
I'll just give it a C, man. Like, I don't like... fuck. Maybe give it a D. C to me just seems very middle of the road, and this doesn't seem like god awful, but it doesn't seem great. So I'll stick with C actually.
Steven, I'm going to give this a C as well.
All right. Congratulations on changing this from terrible to average. This average is a C.
I mean, this card is average. It's not below average.
I think it's one of the worst crime family leaders we've seen so far.
Well, that is your opinion, and you are wrong.
Well,
All
hey,
right.
listen, he's going to see into the future and kill you.
This next card, Lagrella the Magpie. Lagrella the Magpie is a green, a white, and a blue for a 2/3 legendary creature human soldier. When Lagrella the Magpie enters the battlefield, exile any number of other target creatures controlled by different players until Lagrella leaves the battlefield. When an exiled card enters the battlefield under your control this way, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it.
I don't even want to talk about this card, honestly.
It, it is one of the most oddly worded cards Magic has printed in a very long time. David, would you like to explain it?
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, you know what? No, I don't want to explain it. We just don't want to hear it. As far as the actual abilities on this card, I think it might be cool to like flicker this thing, have it come down, so with its trigger on the stack, be able to flicker it, and then that way you're not going to get the leaves trigger, and you just use it as exile removal for your opponents.
Oh yeah, there's tons of ways to go infinite exile with this card. I watched a video after being very confused on how this card works, and it's actually kind of good.
I'm still triggered.
So let's talk about it from a standpoint in case people don't know and they're like, wait, you can just exile every card on the field? No. So it's any number of creatures by different players, meaning you can only choose one creature per player. Super confusing.
I reworded it for you guys because everyone's like, oh, it's just Magic, or they're having a hard time wording it the proper way. It's like I could think of one immediately. Because like the reason for this is what we were talking about. If you don't have to pick a player or you don't have to pick a creature, if they don't have one. Like there are other ways to say it, because like using the word any number of target creatures, that's like super unneeded. Like they don't need to say that. Because that like literally just makes me think again that I can, as long as I'm choosing it from different players, I get to choose any number of target creatures.
Yeah, you see, this is exactly why we're discussing it.
I know, because like all they could say is up to 1. And change that any number to up to 1. It's the exact same thing, and you wouldn't have problems with people going like, why can't I target all of them? Because this does say any number of fucking creatures. I hate this card.
You hate it because of the way that it's worded and none of its abilities.
Creatures, other target. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it does make sense.
No.
Yeah. We're going to go and talk about the card itself now. David, why is this broken?
I don't think that it's broken. I think that there are some fun things that you can do with it where you just use and abuse its ability. So you cast this, and then with the trigger or with its ability still on the stack, you flicker it. So whenever its ability does end up going off, it'll still exile something, but at that point, it's never going to be able to leave because it already has. So you're just exiling out your opponent's creatures. It is a bit of a setup. You can only hit creatures with it, so it's not like you're just nuking your opponent out of nowhere. But it does have some upside.
Tell you a downside is that you can't exile the creature that you already gave the 1/1 counters to, because then they lose the counters.
I'm not talking about actually even using this on your own creatures at all. And if you are going the flicker route, you shouldn't be targeting your own things because you're not going to get those back.
Here's a question, David. You're saying flicker this for your opponent's stuff. You are giving it back to your opponent, though.
If you cast this and its triggers on the stack and you flicker this, what's going to end up happening is this will get flickered out and then come back in. It'll create a new trigger on the stack. The first one to resolve, yes, in the case that they remove this creature, they will get their things back. The second one, however, will go off, will exile, and then there is no version of her left to be removed. So it's just gone.
I don't know if I like that. But I did write that it seems to be one of the most fun commanders to build around. So maybe you're right.
It's like the it's basically like a commander version of what is it, like Fiend Hunter? Or no, I'm sorry, not Fiend Hunter, Banisher Priest.
Banisher Priest. Well, Shane, what do you think about the card itself?
Still don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it because it frustrates me.
Oh, just because of the wording?
Because I'm biased, I guess, now, but I love what it does. I just don't love it. that make sense?
Nope. But I think we should move on to grades, and you tell me what your grade is since you're so confused.
I'm not confused anymore, dude. I see the
Okay.
light.
That was a quick turnaround.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a B.
I guess you can say the light he was seeing was flickering.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's on puns. You give it a D. Well, I'm gonna give it a C. I think it's average at best.
I think you're all fools.
I know. At
And
this
I
point, I'm
think
just
this
salty.
is- I mean, I get it, man. The text box on this card is fucking ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I was very confused, and I just did maybe like 5 minutes worth of research and watched a
All right,
video.
bitch. So did I. That's
And
what made it worse.
what this card can do is kind of nutty. So I'm giving this a B.
I'm still gonna stick with a C on this because this does still exist in a world where it doesn't do anything at its floor, but you do want to probably build this in a way that you can abuse its ETB effect to just annihilate your opponent's boards repeatedly.
Yeah. Yeah. So that average, we're giving this a C. The last card from the Brokers clan is Rigo, Streetwise Mentor. Rigo, Streetwise Mentor is a green or white, and a white or blue for a 2/2 legendary creature, Cat Citizen. It says Rigo, Streetwise Mentor enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it. Whenever you attack a player or planeswalker with one or more creatures with power 1 or less, draw a card. Really low to the ground, go wide strategy?
All right, guys,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and move to the commander grades for this.
Yep.
Nothing to talk about here.
What do you think,
It's
Shane?
awful.
It's one power tribal, dude.
1 power tribal.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Honestly,
mean,
I
I
don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't talk too much shit about this. I mean, just because like when I see this card, I think of like Shigeki a little bit. Now, obviously, there's no black in this, but
You know,
I've
it's a
seen-
bummer. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean, I've seen Shigeki kind of do cool shit. So I mean, maybe this can do cool stuff. I just haven't
Shigeki
seen
is
it,
really good.
obviously.
Shigeki
So.
is super fucking good.
When I first saw Shigeki, I was like, "What are you gonna do with all these low power creatures? What an idiot!" And then I lost, and then now I see the light.
The thing that sucks.
Take it away, Shane.
I just wanted to mention that this doesn't trigger itself. That's it.
Yep, doesn't trigger itself. The way that this card is worded is if you're doing things correctly with this as your commander, you might draw a extra card per turn. That's it.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about how irrelevant just putting a shield counter on this is?
It's a 2/2. It's gonna need it.
I mean, I guess. But we've already talked about exile effects being the thing.
Yeah, but this chump blocks twice.
Yo, dude. And the flavor here, Hunter, he's like the adult, and then you're gonna have the little 1/1 children attacking it for him and drawing cards.
He's just a
teaching
citizen.
them.
He's just a
Oh,
citizen.
He's teaching. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's teaching
He's
them,
a-
so they're drawing cards. He's
Yeah, he's a
mentoring the
mentor,
youth.
Shane. Jesus Christ.
Streetwise too, by the way.
This card's-
Yeah, let's go ahead and move to the grades because we're not very big on this card. Steven, start us off.
I'm gonna give this card a C.
Wow.
Man, you were just all in like, I don't think we need to talk about this card. Let's go to grades. I thought you were going lower. But
No,
C.
I'm gonna give it a C just because it doesn't deserve to be a B. It doesn't deserve to be an A. But at the same time, this is green, white, blue, and white loves tokens, green loves tokens, and blue likes card draw. So I do think that just with the colors and the pieces you can kind of build with this, it could be something, but not a great something. So I'm gonna go with a C. I don't think it's bad enough to be a D or an F, but I'm sure other people will say that right now.
I'm one of those other people.
Yep.
This card is an F. At absolute best, it might draw you a card per turn. This card is awful.
Yeah, I'm
I'm gonna
giving it a
call-
D.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it an F, dude.
It's no bueno.
No bueno.
I hope there's a guy out there named Rigo that follows us, and he's just like, "Thank you, Steven."
So this average is going to be a C. Steven, you messed this average up.
Good.
I mean, no, wait. This average is going to be a D.
Yes. I
Steven,
was like,
you
you said
brought it.
C, and I was like, oh, okay.
I was trying to do the quick math in my head, and I was like, wait, who graded this much higher than I thought?
Yes, this average D. Steven, you brought it up from being an F.
Good.
So that is all the crime families. Let's move on to the non-family based cards. This first one, only found in the set and the collector's boosters. This is Bennie Bracks, Zoologist. Bennie Bracks, Zoologist is 3 and a white for a 3/2 legendary creature elf druid. It has Convoke, meaning your creatures can help cast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting it pays for 1 of the mana of the creature's colors. At the beginning of each end step, if you created a token this turn, draw a card. Seems pretty good. David, take it away.
This and Smothering Tithe draws you cards on everybody's turn. This card is actually really solid. Convoke means that this is going to pretty consistently be pretty cheap. The token draw engine here is powerful. This is fantastic. This might be one of the best mono white commanders we've ever seen.
I know Rick Grimes might have something to say to you.
I said one of, not the.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this card, man. Like you were saying, Smothering Tithe with this. It says at the beginning of each end step, wild. You're trying a lot of cards.
That each word's really cool, man.
I know. Be trying a lot. What do you think, Shane?
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it, but other than that, it looks like a good card. It looks like a fun card. Unfortunately, you're restricted to just mono white, which some players might see as a downside. I'm sure you don't, Hunter, but I wouldn't like to just play a mono white. But it seems like a good card if you're going to be in that route.
100%. Steven?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. I guess the only bad thing is, like Shane said, it's just mono white. But I mean, being able to draw cards each time a token's created, and it's not just a creature token, I think is pretty solid.
Yeah, this is definitely token tribal. I think commander tax may be non-existent if you're really pumping and creating a ton creature tokens. So
True.
I think it's good. Let's move on to the grades. As good as I think this is, I'm still going with a C.
Why?
Wow, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Thought
I'm
you of all
gonna-
people.
I'm going to change this one up a little bit. I'm going to give this one a J for James because I feel like this looks exactly like our buddy James.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you're right.
What's your actual grade?
This card is a B. It's right on the threshold of being an A, but I don't think it's quite there.
I love how you made a comment that literally no one's going to understand but us.
Oh, he can edit it out.
Okay.
Put
I'm
some
going to give it
glasses
a B.
on James, a satchel, call it a day, dude.
Yeah. I'm going to give this a B as well. I'll say real recognizes real, dude. I'm not stoked on it, but I know that it's a good card.
His enthusiastic curiosity puts even the most fearsome beasts at ease. And with that, I give him a B.
Oh.
Congratulations. You've read the flavor
You
text.
even can read, dude.
This average is going to be a B. Moving on, we have Giada, Font of Hope. Giada, Font of Hope is 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature angel. It has flying and vigilance. It says each other angel you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each angel you already control. You can also tap this to add a white, spend this mana only to cast an angel spell. Seems really good for Angel Tribal. Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, dude. Mr. Mono White player over here, dude. I love it. No, I'm just kidding. the card does look pretty freaking strong doing an angel deck. You get to cast it. I'm a big fan of commanders that are basically castable for like an hour game. It seems like one that is castable for an hour.
Still trying to wrap my head around what it is that Shane just said, but I think
An
this card is
hour
pretty
game,
solid.
dude. Come on.
I mean, it's got solid stats on its own in terms of its own like mana value. It works really well with its tribe. There's really nothing to complain about for it. It's a fantastic card for Angels.
The only downside is that it doesn't pop itself.
I think the downside is that you're only playing Angels.
I mean, I guess, but there's a lot of strong Angels, man.
What does Steven think?
I think David said it, man. I mean, there's really nothing. This card does exactly what it has to do. It does it at a cheap cost, and I mean, it's really nothing terrible about it. I mean, I get what Shane's saying. That's a white and one, and you could play it for an hour, I guess.
See, David, he gets it. Even if it gets killed over and over, it's still castable.
Yeah, but an hour and 5 minutes, this thing is toast.
I hate you.
This thing is toast.
If I ever see you build this deck, Shane, I'm gonna kill this card on sight every single time you play it.
You're such a dick, dude.
There is 157 mono white Angels, so I think you could build this pretty easily.
I think you could too.
Let's move on to our grades. Steven, what do you think?
It's a B. It's not average. It's not stupendous, but it's right there. So
I thought an average was C. I think you like it a little bit more if you're calling it a B.
it's not average.
Oh, it's not average. Sorry.
Fine.
I can't hear.
Jesus.
Shane, what do you think?
I guess I'm just gonna stick on the train of the hypeness and call it B because it is good. Steven, it is not average.
It's a B.
I'm right there with you all. It is a B.
Hunter, did I see you change your grade?
I did. I changed it just because I thought, you know what? For 2 mana, can't get better than that. I think the mana cost really put it up to a B to me.
It's a bear that does insane shit.
Pretty much. Let's move on to the next card. Once again, this card comes only from the set and collector boosters. This is Mari, the Killing Quill. Mari, the Killing Quill is 1 and 2 black for a 3/2 legendary creature vampire assassin. It says whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, exile it with a hit counter on it. Assassins, mercenaries, and rogues you control have death touch. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a hit counter from a card that player owns in exile. If you do, draw a card and create 2 treasure tokens. Shane.
That's super
ahead.
sick, dude. This is great. This is really, really strong. Giving all of those, are there enough assassins, mercenaries, mercenaries and rogues to just make a freaking crazy death touch tribal deck? Because that's sick.
Bitter Blossom makes fairy rogues.
Oh shit! All 1/1 death touchers now, dude. Yeah, this card seems really, really strong, dude. I was hoping that you were gonna keep reading and it was gonna say that you may cast the card out of there and whatever, but drawing a card and creating 2 treasures is probably just as good
Or better.
or better. True. Because let's hope that your deck is better than whatever random creatures you're exiling with a hit counter on it. But the card is fucking sick, dude.
I agree with Shane on this. I think this card is fantastic. I think it might be slightly better not at the helm of a deck, though. I like the fact that just given itself, I mean, it gives itself death touch and its own ability.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
go ahead.
You go. That was pretty much my entire thought.
Well, I think being a tribal player, we just talked about a tribe of angels, tribe of assassin, mercenaries, and rogues. Gives you a little broader. Looking up at the numbers, there's 158 mercenary, rogue, or assassins that are pure black. So, very doable. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's be a lot of fun to build around. And these treasures don't come in tapped. All right, let's do a lightning round. We're getting on to the grades. I'm going with a B. David.
V.
Steven.
B.
Shane.
B.
Perfect. So that average for this card is a B. Moving on to the next. This is Errant, Street Artist. Errant, Street Artist is 1 blue for a 0/3 legendary creature human rogue. It has Flash, it has Defender, and Haste. It has an ability where you can pay 1 and a blue and tap it, copy target spell you control that wasn't cast. You may choose new targets for the copy. Mr. Blue Player Shane, what is this card all about,
yes.
huh?
I really want to know, like I said, is there a way to go infinite on turns? Because that's the only thing I thought about like immediately. But then how do you get cards that wasn't cast? Like it has to be
Please.
cheated in somehow or something?
You do copies of a spell. So copy the copy.
Copy that. Oh, okay. Oh, so you can kind of do maybe not infinite, but there might be a way to do it. Like if you do something that copies the next spell you play something that like takes an extra turn, you get that one and the copy, then you flash this guy in, pay 2 more to make a copy of the copy.
A
That's
lot
like
of hoops.
that's like my head kind of hurts, but maybe your opponents will just quit because they're pissed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. Man, you just took 2 extra turns. I'm
pissed.
pissed.
Let me quit.
This is the part where you
Quit.
flip the table, you asshole, yeah. But I don't know, dude. It seems like a very good card, but I don't know how to judge it.
I don't think it's a very good card at all. There's just too many hoops to make this effective.
Somebody smarter than us will figure it out, but we're not the group who's going to get it.
Definitely not the group.
What do you think?
Or maybe
Is this a
Steven is.
How about Shane? How about this? Is this a good commander?
Potentially?
Great answer. Steven,
So
what do you think?
Yeah.
I think this could be really good when somebody that knows more than me figures it out.
I just love that that's like our go-to right now. We're dumb. Someone figure it out.
There's too many obstacles in the way for this card. Like, I can imagine that there is some crazy shit that you can do with it, and somebody will be able to piece it together, but I'm not seeing it, and I'm not going to pretend like I am.
Dude,
I
the
mean,
comment section. You
until
idiot, you don't see this?
until somebody mentions it to me what this card can do, I will say I agree with David, and I know you didn't say it in the video yet, but this is definitely better than 99 right now, my opinion.
Yeah, you throw this in like the 99 on like Calimax, something that's already copying pretty regularly, and boom, value.
That's my commander.
Have you won with that one?
Probably. haven't played that deck in a long time, Steven.
Because it loses a lot?
I don't know. I just haven't played it. I have too
The
many.
shots,
Steven,
dude.
it's not that his decks don't win games. It's that he doesn't win games.
This is true.
Good, dude. Yeah, so let's move on to the grades. I'm giving this a D. I don't like it. As a commander, D.
I would give this thing an F, but I can cast this for an hour, so I'm going to give it a D.
I swear to God, I hate you, dude. Well, you know what? I'm leaving myself wiggle room, so when that smart Redditor figures out how to use this card, I don't look like a complete idiot. I'm giving it a C.
Twinning staff.
Sure. Steven has broke it.
Granted, that's 7 mana, but. Or,
Steven, what's your
what
grade?
about that? I'm going to give this a C.
My
Because
man.
right now I'm reading into this card and I'm just like, this might be a little good. This might be a little good. This is Form Engine.
I mean, you could put this with Jinkataxias.
It's literally if you go under high synergy, it's the #1 card.
Is it really?
Probably that and like the Isochron Scepter.
Yeah, just break the card. We did it. We broke it. This average is a C. Moving on to the final card we're talking about. This is Urabrask, Heretic Praetor. Urabrask Heretic Praetor is 3 and 2 red for a 4/4 legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. It's got haste. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. It also says at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, the next time they would draw a card this turn, instead they exile the top card of their library. They may play it this turn.
So
What's the point?
Well, your opponents don't get the quote-unquote draw anymore? Is that what the...
Yeah,
For
the
the
word draw.
you get the idea of drawing 2 cards, basically. You're exiling one of them, drawing again.
And the first card that your opponent would draw would go into exile. But past
Got
that
it.
point, they draw as normal.
Got it.
Yeah. I kind of wrote, this is a red pseudo card draw, which is cool. But 5 mana is a little bit on the higher side for a monocolored commander.
This does nothing.
I mean, it does something.
Okay, it does something. It doesn't do much.
Technically, it does tell you what your opponents drew that turn.
It tells you the first card they drew that turn. But let's be real. This is EDH. We live in a world in which this game, you're not drawing 1 card per turn.
You're still
You have
getting
draw engines set up. You're drawing on other people's turns as well. Like,
In red?
not well, no, you can still do it in red, but I'm not saying just in red. I'm more so talking about from the point of like, if my opponent is playing this card, it really is not phasing me a whole lot.
I thought there was something you were talking about many moons ago, that there was like a pseudo lock so your opponent couldn't like draw cards anymore or cast spells anymore. Was that this card?
It was this card, and then I went back and I reread this card and realized that lock doesn't work.
Got
It
it.
does work. We reread it again.
Okay, it does work for the first card, and then past that point, as I mentioned, this literally just doesn't do shit.
Well, we looked at it from that point of standard too, so EDH is a
Got
lot different.
Got it. Well, I think the Phyrexian Praetors crash and burn.
Yeah, this because the card we looked at was white as well, so it doesn't even
got it.
fit.
Got it.
Yep, I don't think it's very good as a commander. Let's move to the grades. David, what do we got?
It's a D. It's disappointing. Once again, Urabrask is probably going to be the weakest of the cycle.
Steven?
Disappointed. Hercules? Nobody? Okay.
Yeah,
it's a
I got
D.
it. I got it.
I mean, sure you did.
Yeah, I got it. Shut up, dude. Keep going.
You just died of dysentery.
This is a D. We're sticking with the theme. Shane, what are we thinking?
What are
Round
we
it
playing?
out.
The Oregon Trail? What the fuck? Dysentery? I'll give it a D.
Yep. Average grade right here is a D. And that is it. That is all of our commander grades for the original set. Like this video. If you did, comment down below telling us if we're wrong about our grades or if we're right or if you completely agree with us. We would love that as well.
Or if you still think David's wrong about Xander from the last video.
Somebody's salty.
It's still the salt is just lingering. Yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow us on our Instagram and Twitter. That is @GuysMagic. Until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
But later.
Goodbye.
Bye.